Hey guys, so I just wanted to hop on here real quick because going along with the raw diet, I just wanted to share something that if you guys are thinking about transitioning but maybe just aren't fully ready, still are a little bit overwhelmed, that you guys can do. And while I had somebody's dog here that is on raw, but they choose to purchase these mixes, and you can get these logs. This one is a turkey mix and this one is a chicken mix, and I just need to remind myself, since it's been a while since I have fed these. You can get these in mixes or grinds. This is by Primal, and the mix includes vegetables already. I always preferred to get the grinds just because it was just meat and they're the same price, but you can always, do the same exact thing with this pre-made log as you would with the raw food that I'm ordering, if you guys watched the video before of when I got the food in the box. So literally, I just have a towel on the table. You just set it out, let it thaw, put it in your sink or wherever you want to do it, and then I normally just empty this entire thing into a Tupperware, and then I scoop, again, usually eyeballing, but in the beginning you should use your food scale. I've also seen people, once it thaws a little bit, kind of cut them into the size they need, so it's kind of like a hamburger patty, and then they'll feed it that way. That's just been more work for me, so that's typically not the way that I've done it, but you can do it either way, whatever works for you. But I think the only flavors this comes in is beef, pork, turkey, chicken, so I don't think there's a whole lot of rotation. The only thing that I personally wasn't crazy about with these logs is when the dog poops, I do feel like there's a lot of calcium. I believe that's what's causing this, is the poop almost comes out like powder. It's like a yellow powder. So if you're going to get these, I would still pick up some ground meats from the grocery store, and I would add in a variety of ground meats in addition to this. So that being said, that's an easy way to start, and that way you don't have to worry about, there's not much thought in it. And you can also get brands like Stella and Chewy's. I think they come in patties. You can get Vital Essentials. It's been a while since I've gotten the pre-made stuff. And again, it's not my favorite. I'd prefer to actually do it with real food. But if you're confused, I did start this way. So, I mean, no hate. You can do it this way if you want to start. But I would say it might get a little bit more expensive. So, it's just easier to do your own ingredients and control your own ingredients, especially if you're fighting some sort of health challenge with your dog. You have full control once you take over the ingredients. So that being said, I just wanted to go into something that this does include the bone, the organ meat, and the muscle meat. So, I think it says it might not be complete. Maybe it is. But it's pretty decent. I would just buy different flavors and rotate them. I think Stella and Chewy's has some other, proteins, and so does Vital Essentials. But again, there's added ingredients in there that I wouldn't normally feed. So that's why I opted to then do it myself. So kind of just going forward, whether you're doing home cooked or you're doing raw, how much to feed has been a question people are just really unsure of. So you're feeding, if you have a puppy, it's generally 5 to 6%, and then once you have a dog, it's 2 to 3%. So in the puppy stages where you're feeding a little bit more, then yes, you're going to have to feed a little bit more raw food, and then generally speaking, it's 2 to 3% of your dog's ideal body weight. So for example, if I have a 50-pound dog and I'm going to go on the 2%, and this is just giving us a general idea. It's not you have to feed exactly 2, exactly 3. You might be feeding 4%. So don't get caught up on the numbers. I see way too many people that have their bag of dog kibble and they're like, my dog weighs 85 pounds, so it gets 4 cups a day. Well, the dog weighs 85 pounds because it's been overfed, and it's only supposed to weigh 75 pounds. But as the dog gains weight, they start feeding on the feeding chart, and I don't know why it's like that. I don't know if it's so the dog eats more and gains weight, and then you have to buy more kibble. I don't know what it is. I don't like kibble, not a fan. Won't go into it. So anyway, 50-pound dog, 2%. Just go on the internet or get your calculator out, or if you're good at math, figure it out. But 2% of 50 pounds is 1 pound. and 3% of 50 pounds is 1.5 pounds. So roughly speaking, per day, a 50-pound dog, or my 50-pound dog in specifically, would be between 1 and 1.5 pounds of food per day. So you want to convert that to ounces, and when you do, you get 16 to 24 ounces per day. And then if you're feeding twice, you're just going to cut that in half. So 16 would be 8 ounces in the morning, 8 ounces in the evening, and then 24 would be, 12 in the morning, 12 in the evening. So roughly speaking, if I'm going to go off the 2 to 3%, I'd be feeding between 8 and 12 ounces per meal per day. So that gives you kind of a rough estimate of where your starting point could be. And the only thing that I would encourage you to do is look at, the age, the current weight, the activity level, if the dog is spayed or neutered, just so you know. So I have a very active, intact male, kind of is like a young teenage boy. So, I might be over that 3%. And every single day, I just look at him, and if I need to, if your dog has a lot of fur, sometimes that's deceiving, so you've got to actually feel them to see, wow, do they have a lot of coverage over their ribs, a little bit of extra weight they could lose, and then just cut them back, same as a person. So that's just something to keep in mind. The 2 to 3%, just go on Google, type in what's 2% of 80 pounds, and you're going off the ideal weight. So if your dog weighs 100 but should weigh 85, and that's a lot of weight to lose, but you're going to want to gradually cut back. So, start slow, make the transition. And I know a lot of people, just within the last couple weeks, I've had a lot of nice looking intact males, very lean dogs switching over just for the benefit of being fed a healthier diet. And at the same time, I've had some other clients that have had a challenge with, health issues and allergies, and just thousands of dollars in tests at the vet. Look to food first. It's so easy to make this change first, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But if I'm a person and I'm obese and I'm on all these medications, and the doctor says, well, you should lose some weight, losing that weight is going to help in so many areas. So it's worth a try. And it depends on your vet. So I would find a vet that understands raw feeding and, hasn't, think it's the most evil thing in the world, because some do. And that's where it gets really difficult, because you have a trusted professional versus information that you're just reading, and then you have to decide. But again, common sense wise would tell me that there's nothing wrong with feeding fresh food, that it would be way better than feeding processed food. So just keep that in mind, when you're drawing your conclusions. And, in order to better understand raw versus cooking the food, I think you really need to understand, go further into the argument of, what is your dog? What does the digestive tract look like? What is the pH in the stomach? Why can a dog eat raw food? Why could a wolf eat it, but now all of a sudden these domesticated dogs can't eat it? How is the digestive tract changed that makes it so it's not possible? Again, I fed my dog, since, my breeder had him when he was born, as early as they could be raw fed. He's 5 now. He's only been on raw. I can honestly say I've never had any issues, challenges, problems, either diet related or really health related. So maybe it's diet, maybe I just got lucky. My older female, same thing. She's 11 now, and she's been raw fed too. So all I can say is do your own research. You have to, because you're going to be faced with times where people are going to question your decisions, and you're going to want to read things so you're not scared of, what people are trying to tell you to get you on a prescription diet or whatever it may be. So fresh foods, that's all I can say. Obviously, still consult with your vet if you have questions, but I would definitely find a vet that is comfortable with raw feeding and understands it as well, well enough to accept it at least. So hopefully that helps. Logs or raw, got choices.